Hey CVCA grandparents, welcome to Grandparents Day 2020, virtual style. We so wish that we could be together in the same building, seeing and enjoying all that God is doing here. But on a year like this, we have grandparents still together with us, even though we're not in the same building. Our community is the teachers, the students, the parents, and the grandparents, all under the banner of the gospel, as we educate and cultivate servants for Christ. And that's no different, just because of the virus that is out there. Again, we wish we could be together, but you do understand, on a year like this, there's a chance where we are physically separated, but let's just remember before we get into the heart of this, that we are never separated, that we are joined together as CVCA community, and you are a major part of that. So keep praying for us and your grandkid as we come together under the gospel. And I'll have my friend Matt Flagel walk you through the wonderful building here at CVCA. We love you.
Hi, I'm Matt Flagel, and I am the Director of Development at CVCA, and that means in part that I'm responsible for the expansions at CVCA that we fund, creating new spaces for students and new tools for them to use so that they can have the best educational experience possible here at CVCA. So I know that's important to you since you have students here as well. Some of you have been to CVCA before, and you've seen the building, but it looks very different than it did even 12 months ago. Some of you are aware that we had a big campaign to raise money for the Excel Still More project, which built a number of things for our student body and for our larger community of CVCA families. So I wanted to show you a little bit of that, in part because some of you actually donated to that campaign and helped us do the amazing things we were able to do this past spring. So you've probably heard about the FIELDHOUSE, but if you haven't seen it yet, this behind me is what we were talking about and planning for many years. This space has been such a blessing to us for a couple reasons. First, it's a huge blessing to our athletic program, because now rather than stacking games and stacking practices late into the evening, CVCA families can kind of get in and out of here a lot quicker in the afternoons. We could have multiple games, multiple practices running at the same time. In case you can't take in how huge and enormous this space is, this behind me is the length of 3 basketball courts. This is such a blessing too, because in the wake of all the protocols and limitations for COVID schooling, we were able to use this space as a cafeteria and study space for kids. We can have a large number of kids in here, adequately spaced out, which is really awesome. So there's a track here, 12 basketball hoops, plenty of space for kids to practice, and behind me and to your left is a wrestling room as well, which will be ready pretty soon for the students to go in and start practicing. So this is just part of what God has done to bless our school and enlarge our territory and space going into the next decade of teaching students. So some of you might recognize the hallway behind me. This is where we usually finish our Grandparents Day events by having a big program for you all. And this year, again, unfortunately, we can't have that, but I want you to know that there's a lot going on in this hallway. First of all, you'll see the signs over my shoulder, the right way, wrong way signs. These are used to keep students flowing in the right direction so we can have almost 800 students in this building and yet keep them distanced during the passing periods between their classes. But there's more than that going on, okay? To my right and your left, there are 2 classrooms dedicated to media production. One of them is a graphic design classroom. The other one is fully suited up to be a video media room. So you have students in there with green screens and cameras and tripods and lots of computers that are equipped to allow them to edit video media. So that's a great way to prepare them for the life ahead of them and their different careers and their interests, and it's a great creative outlet. Our athletics programs at CVCA often get a lot of attention, and rightly so, but in this Excel Still More program that we just finished, we wanted to also provide some great spaces for our students who are more creatively inclined. So right behind me here is a huge practice room for our choir and vocal artists, and I think handbells practices in there as well. Up the stairs is a massive storage space for our theater program. There's places for costumes and other things. And then down the hall just a little ways is an even larger space, which is being used by our symphonic orchestra and instrumentalists. So we'll give you a quick glimpse into that as well. I hope you enjoyed seeing our new spaces, and thank you so much for your support, your prayers over the last couple of years as this dream came to life and we were able to expand CVCA for the sake of its families.